Tell all you love that you love them so, because even if you do, they might not know, and one day we'll all be gone. Taste the wind, don't let it blow on by. Sing songs of love, let the music get you high, and when it's said and done, you'll know the sun will shine on.
If your parents are alive, if you want to ask forgiveness from your mother or your father, do it now. If you want to ask your mother or your dad personal questions about their lives, do it now. If you want to answer their questions, their personal questions about your life, your ways, your feelings, do it now. If you want to thank them, if you want to compliment them, if you want to confront them non-violently, do it now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed to any one of us on earth. Many people stand with overwhelming regrets at silent graves. What good are lots of money and property if our body is very sick? What good are lots of money and property if we have not kept in touch with our living old friends? What good are lots of money and property if we have not kept making new friends? What good are lots of money and property if we fear people want us just because of our money? I do not want much more money and stuff than what I have now. I have enough. I would not trade places with any millionaire or billionaire. I would be ashamed as hell to live that way. How can we teach kids to live fairly in our families if we adults have and buy and crave far more stuff than what we need in our world family of over 7 billion sisters and brothers? I wish when I was in high school in the 1960s, this book, A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn, Z-I-N-N, A People's History of the United States, I wish it had been written, and I wish it had been used in my American history class. Seeing American history through the lives of Native Americans, African Americans, Latinos, women, low-income working people, activists against war and injustice, I strongly recommend this book, A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. Get it from the local library. No God hears and helps thousands of Palestinians in Gaza, injured, murdered, made homeless by billions of dollars of U.S. weapons given to Israel to turn Gaza into hell. So why would a U.S. Christian father pray and expect God to help his son's basketball team to win? Crazy. No God hears and helps millions hungry and starving worldwide. So why would a U.S. Christian pray to God to find a parking space? Insanity. No God heard and helped millions the U.S. murdered in war in Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. So why would a U.S. Christian mother expect God to heal her sick daughter. No God heard and helped many thousands the U.S. murdered in El Salvador and Guatemala. So why would some U.S. Christians pray to God to win the lottery? No God heard and helped millions of Jews, plus gays, gypsies, handicapped people, communists, Jehovah's Witnesses, tortured and murdered in the Nazi concentration camps. So why would a U.S. Christian expect God to help him or her find a new job? 57 years ago, I was a very sincere young Christian preacher. Sadly, I spread much religious bullshit about God, the imaginary friend. I was wrong. I apologize. We all need close friends. Loneliness kills. Loneliness is more deadly than smoking cigarettes. Video chats, Zoom, emails, computer contacts are not enough. We all need face-to-face close friends with heart-to-heart conversations and many warm hugs. If you have a romantic partner, do you feel trapped and caged by that person you're dating or are married to? Does your partner feel trapped or caged by you? Is he or she jealous? Are you jealous? How would he or she react if you leave the relationship? Violence? Stalking? Bad-mouthing you to other people? Can you see and say clearly your partner's strengths and your partner's weaknesses? Is he or she honest with you about everything? Are you honest with him or her about everything? Do you need someone who is in love and makes love with no one besides you? Do you lie to each other about anything? Are you ready to hear the truth, even if it is not what you want to hear? How does he or she talk about past romantic partners? And that is a serious wake-up call if they are constantly putting down the past romantic partners and insulting them and bad-mouthing them. Because if you and your partner break up, the partner may do the same to you. If you ask him or her, does he or she not want to answer about past romantic partners? Is he or she still friends with past partners? Would you or your partner or both of you be better off as friends, but no longer dating, no longer married to each other? Sometimes romance is like 8-year-old Jose finding a baby bird fallen from the nest in the tree. Jose, finding a baby bird fallen from the nest, picks it up, runs excitedly to show his mother. He opens his hand, and the baby bird is dead. He squeezed the life out of it, not thinking what the baby bird was feeling in his tight hand. And if we try to trap or cage the other person and cause that person to feel suffocated, it ain't going to end well unless we wake up and change. The U.S. has over 800 military bases around the world. all other nations combined in the world have about 70 military bases outside their nations. But the U.S. has over 800 military bases around the world. The U.S. military causes more of the climate crisis than any one of 140 nations in the world. The U.S. military. The massive carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases causing the climate crisis from U.S. military bases outside the U.S. are not included in the total for U.S. as a nation. The United States spends more money for war, more money for mass murder, than the next highest 9 nations combined. Think of that. The U.S. spends more money for war, for mass murder, than the next highest 9 nations combined. A peace-loving nation? Bullshit. The U.S. government calls it for defense, but no nation has invaded the U.S. since 1812, over 200 years ago. Many years ago, the now so-called Defense Department was named, more honestly, the Department of War. The United States has thousands of nuclear bombs, thousands of warplanes. The U.S. government is drunk on spending for war to steal and hog the resources and the cheap labor of many smaller nations. U.S. evil weapons companies and oil companies are filthy rich from billions of U.S. government dollars. Most U.S. congressional districts provide military, most U.S. congressional districts have war companies. The U.S. military provides military fellows as staff in U.S. congressional offices. Many U.S. people say war is not the answer, but over 700 lobbyists working for war companies pressure Congress to support U.S. wars. The U.S. war companies and other filthy rich pay for the election campaigns of Congress members. I urge you to insist for our Senators Lujan and Heinrich and Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury to negotiate ceasefires now in the wars in Gaza, Ukraine, Yemen. Cut off all U.S. weapons sales and funding throughout the world. Many people in the Pacific Island nations and many U.S. veterans have suffered sickness and death from the many tests of U.S. nuclear weapons on Pacific Islands. The U.S. depleted uranium, the U.S. Agent Orange, the U.S. chemical and biological weapons, the U.S. destruction of oil fields, the fires, the chemical spraying, sicken and kill many people and their children and grandchildren in places where the U.S. has tested weapons and waged war. The victims include U.S. veterans. 1/3 to 1/2 of federal income tax pays for U.S. wars, past, present, and future. 1/3 to 1/2 of U.S. federal income tax, pays for U.S. wars. Iraq has natural gas, oil, and port access to the Persian Gulf. Afghanistan has natural gas, oil, lithium, and opium. Africa has oil and uranium. Cell phones contain cobalt and coltan from the Congo in Africa. Iran has the second largest oil reserves in the region. Always follow the money and the resources that the U.S. government is grabbing. If you want to understand why the U.S. government does what it does all over the world, always follow the money. Always follow the resources. The U.S. government and U.S. corporations are greedy as hell. I have paid no federal income tax for 44 years. I refuse to pay for U.S. mass murders in U.S. wars, past, present, and future, in many nations. I compliment you women who wear low-cut dresses or tops, showing more of your breasts. I compliment you. Enjoy showing your body. Enjoy being sexy. We cannot show our bodies when we're dead in the grave. So enjoy being attractive. As a man, I enjoy being shirt-free in public when I'm not cold. And I strongly support the right of any woman to be top-free in public if she wants to be. Why should women be required by law to cover more of their bodies than men? And I've had women say to me on a hot day when I am shirt-free, they wish they could be like me. Shirt-free, top-free. As women, men, and non-binary, why waste loads of money on fancy clothes, expensive jewelry, cosmetics? We can be attractive by being healthy and lean. We can be attractive by never being stuck up. We can be attractive by being always honest, friendly, warm, and dependable. I love to dance to beautiful music, Mexican and Chicano music, older country music. I love to dance to Motown, Diana Ross. I do not know the dance steps. I've never taken a dance class. I just do what I feel freely, without hang-ups and shame. I dance with my longtime friend Maria and other women, and often by myself. I would be glad to dance. I would love to dance with certain men, but sadly, most men in this society do not have the balls to dance with men in most places. Even though women sometimes dance with women at fiestas. I have no interest in team sports. I damn all violent sports, boxing, mixed martial arts, football. Why would I want to injure and inflict pain on another man's body? Why would I want him to injure and inflict pain on my body? I'm devoted to much walking. The contact sport I love is passionate sex with a healthy, lean man I'm attracted to and who is attracted to me if he has no shame, no guilt about sex with men. At the 1963 March on Washington, D.C., Prophet Martin Luther King Jr. gave his I Have a Dream speech. The chief organizer for that march was openly gay African-American Baird Rustin. Baird's longest romantic relationship was with a Quaker white man 38 years younger. The Quaker white man was 27, and that Quaker white man initiated the romantic relationship with Baird Rustin, who was 65, 38 years older than the 27-year-old Quaker white man. Baird and the much younger white man were together until Baird died. In the year 2000, I started writing down every penny, or aiming to write down every penny I spend for everything: rent, food, stamps, everything I buy. I learned that from the book Your Money or Your Life. Your Money or Your Life. Writing down every penny I spend and adding it up is a wonderful discipline, because much of the money most people spend in the United States is for crap nobody needs. When our loved ones are dying, we need to make sure they know they can talk with us frankly about their dying, about their death, and about anything from their life that they want to talk about with us. They need to know, and I'm talking about our friends and our loved ones who are dying, they need to know that we will not change the subject. We will not look at our watches. We will not walk out of the room unable to handle their memories, their feelings. Sometimes the dying person wants to talk about dying, but fears the family or friends cannot handle it, and that the family will bullshit the dying person with, "You'll soon be up and around. You're looking better every day." Just bullshit lies. If you love someone and they're dying, please make sure they know they can be fully honest with you about all that they're feeling. Tom Grissom was a white man who grew up in the state of Mississippi. Born in 1940, Tom Grissom became very aware of the evil horrors of white supremacy against black people during slavery and ever since. Tom Grissom rejected superstition and religion. Tom was an atheist. And for 15 years, from 1970 to 1985, Tom worked at Sandia Weapons Labs in Albuquerque. Tom worked designing nuclear weapons of mass murder. But in 1985, Tom Grissom woke up. His conscience came alive. Tom realized how evil his work was at the weapons labs, and he abruptly resigned. Tom Grissom got out of the mass murder business, and then for 22 years, Tom enjoyed teaching at Evergreen State College in the state of Washington. Tom died at age 81, October 2022. I strongly compliment Tom Grissom for making a huge good change when he quit his 15-year mass murder job at Sandia Weapons Lab. I wish all the scientists there would follow Tom's example. If all the hundreds of millions of desperately poor people on earth were suddenly able to consume, to pollute, to travel, and to eat meat and dairy as most middle income or even lower middle income people in the United States, the Earth's environment would be far worse than it is now. The American dream is a nightmare disaster for human life on Earth. The American dream is a nightmare disaster for plant life on Earth. The American dream is a nightmare disaster for animal life on Earth. I have no right to much more than I need while many millions worldwide suffer on far less than they need. I enjoy living simply on less than the U.S. poverty level. I enjoy living simply, less spoiled, less bills, less stress, more freedom. I refuse to be a slave to ads, to commercials, to corporations for crap I do not need and I do not want. Now, if we are craving something and want it terribly and don't have it, we can be miserable. But I don't want that crap, and that's freedom. Why hog much more than my fair share in our world family of over 7 billion sisters and brothers? Freedom is not wanting much stuff I do not need. My time is more precious than millions of dollars. My friendships more precious than mansions full of expensive crap. Booze, junk food are awful addictions. But no addiction is more harmful than craving much more money, much more stuff than we need. Cocaine, meth, sugar, heroin are awful addictions. But no addiction is more harmful than craving much more money, much more stuff than we need. Guns, cigarettes, sodas are awful addictions, but no addiction is more harmful than craving much more money, much more stuff than we need. And here are the personal testimonies from children of divorced parents. When my father moved out of the house, it was the biggest favor he could have done our family. He should have done it a lot sooner. I was a teenager when Dad moved out. He and Mom never got along. And after he and Mom divorced, believe it or not, they became good friends. They both met other people eventually married. Their only regret was waiting so long to end a marriage that was all wrong from the beginning. There are many children who are glad their parents had the courage to split. And then another testimony. My parents finally divorced after 22 years of staying together for the sake of the kids, they said. They were just kids themselves when they eloped. And when they finally grew up, they grew in different directions. This person says, I don't believe people should be condemned to a lifetime of unhappiness because of one mistake made when they were too young to know any better. And by that time, they wasted a lot of good years. As I look back, I realize that their staying together while we were growing up was no favor to us. We were affected more by their unhappiness together than we were by their divorce. I wish parents would be more honest with their children instead of trying to pretend that everything is okay, when in reality, it's a mess. I can still remember my sister and I pulling the covers over our heads at night to drown out the yelling and cursing of those late night family fights. Another testimony. Speaking of staying together for the sake of the kids, I think our parents probably hold the record. They split up at least a dozen times in my recollection. They were actually divorced twice during their first 15 years of marriage, but got married again. My mother said she'd rather live with the devil she knew than the devil she didn't know. Theirs was a very poor example of what a marriage should be. They had all kinds of excuses for getting back together after they split. There were 4 daughters, 2 sons in our family, and my mother kept reconciling because she thought every father owed it to his daughter to walk her down the aisle. And after each wedding, there was a big fight, and father moved out of the house for a while. Deep down, we kids always had the feeling our folks tried to stay together for our sakes, which laid a terrible guilt trip on us. If I could give young couples one piece of advice, I would tell them not to have any children until they were absolutely certain they could get along with each other. Staying together for the sake of the kids is a big mistake. A lot of couples should split for the sake of the kids and stay split. I strongly compliment these powerful testimonies from the children of divorced parents. People have used the Bible to torture and kill people of other religions. People have used the Bible to put men above women. People have used the Bible to put whites above people of color. People have used the Bible to oppose marriage between whites and blacks. People have used the Bible to mass murder Native Americans, Jews, Palestinians, and gays. People have used the Bible to plunder and poison our Mother Earth for greedy profits. People have used the Bible to say God is male. People have used the Bible to curse masturbation. People have used the Bible to make us ashamed of our naked bodies. People have used the Bible to make us ashamed of giving and receiving affectionate sexual pleasures. People have used the Bible to bless capitalism. People have used the Bible to silence sincere, honest questions. People have used the Bible to keep poor people ignorant, poor people quiet under bloody dictators and filthy rich heads of state. People have used the Bible to condemn passionate romance between men or passionate romance between women. People have used the Bible to enslave millions of black people. People have used the Bible to demand people remain in miserable marriages. People have used the Bible to rally soldiers and taxpayers to rob and massacre other nations. People have used the Bible to surgically rape and painfully mutilate babies in circumcision. I damn these many evils people have used the Bible to support. People have used the Bible to abuse and eat animals. People have used the Bible to support the death penalty. People have used the Bible to build nuclear bombs to terrorize the world. People have used the Bible to teach eternal punishment in hell with no pardon, no parole. I hate, I damn all such evil religion. Azim Kamisa, a California investment banker, became an activist after his 20-year-old son, Tariq, was murdered while Tariq was delivering pizzas in 1995, murdered by 14-year-old gang member Tony Hicks. But Kamisa, Azim Kamisa, the father, forgave Hicks, who murdered his son. And Kamisa asked Hicks' grandfather to help him spread a message of nonviolence to young people through his Tariq Kamisa Foundation. And these two men, Tariq Kamisa, whose son had been murdered by this other man's grandson while delivering pizza, these two men became close friends, closest brothers. And 5 years after the murder, Kamisa, the father, visited Hicks in prison, the young man who had murdered Kamisa's 20-year-old son. And Kamisa said, I could see that my forgiveness of him had also transformed him. Quite frankly, when I looked deeply in his eyes, I did not see a murderer there. I saw another soul just like me. A good way to celebrate Christmas or other holidays with family and friends, if the weather is good, go to a park or a backyard, eat together, only healthy food, no booze, no sodas, no fast food, no factory fake crap, nothing with added sugar. And best would be all raw plant foods. Sing together some favorite songs. No expensive gifts no one needs. And for those who are able, a long walk together in nature. Invite everyone to ask any question to anyone about their lives, about sex, about family secrets. No restrictions. Invite everyone to ask any question to anyone about their lives. And the person asked may refuse to answer for any reason. Listen to each other's short, true stories. Sad memories, funny memories, life's lessons, compliments, apologies, thanks. If we love our friend or relative, will we give them sodas? If we love our friend or relative, will we give them candy or cookies or ice cream? If we love our friend or relative, will we give them cake? No matter how much they want it, no matter how much they beg us. Sugar is the gateway drug. Sugar is slow poison, often leading to alcoholism and diabetes and kidney disease with dialysis. If we care about other human beings' health, will we make or sell or deliver these damn poisons? Julian Assange is a hero of conscience. Julian Assange dared to tell the world the massive war crimes the United States committed in Iraq and Afghanistan. The U.S. government wants to lock him up in a U.S. maximum security prison for the rest of his life. Why? He told the world the awful, bloody truth about U.S. mass murders in Iraq and Afghanistan. Julian revealed secret official government records on U.S. atrocities in Iraq and Afghanistan. For almost 7 years, Julian Assange lived in a small apartment in the Embassy of Ecuador in London to keep the U.S. government from taking him to the United States for trial and prison, maximum security for the rest of his life. And since 2019, Julian Assange has been held in harsh conditions and failing health in Britain's awful Belmarsh prison. A strong worldwide movement of activists and some major newspapers call for the United States to drop all charges against hero of conscience Julian Assange. From Australia, a woman's story. In 1988, she had cancer in the bowel, the liver, the lymph system. And for the cancer in the bowel, she had 3 operations within 3 months, after which she was only skin and bone. And for the liver and lymph cancers, she was offered chemotherapy, which she refused. And all the anesthetics, the antibiotics, and post-operative drugs had weakened her immune system to rock bottom. She was given by a friend the book The Water of Life by J.W. Armstrong of England. The book about urine therapy, using our piss to heal our bodies. She decided not to tell her doctor. She decided not to tell anyone until she felt totally healed. She did not want any discouragement, any negative influence. She mixed with her wheatgrass juice, lettuce juice, to make it taste better. She took other veggie juices. She ate plenty of salads and greens. She ate no meat, no cooked foods, no dairy products. She ate no oils or fats for 3 months to heal her liver. She had daily rubbings of her whole body, including her hair and scalp, with piss. The skin is an absorbing organ for the lymph glands. And this woman would do this in the afternoon and shower the next morning. She also drank her own water of life, her piss, in between meals, early morning, during the night, up to 7 glasses per day. I guess I've never drunk that much in one day, 7 glasses. 9 months later, she went to the doctor, looking and feeling well. What a great surprise to her doctor. He thought she had already died. A blood test showed no remaining trace of cancer anymore. I started drinking my piss for health November 10th, 1999, over 24 years ago. I have drunk my piss most days since that, except for 2 months after the hit and run, May 16th, because of drugs that were given me in the hospital. And some of those drugs, portions of them, were still in my piss for weeks. The semen, the cum of a man who smokes cigarettes, is contaminated with the many poison chemicals in the cigarette smoke. The semen, the cum of a man who eats much meat, much dairy from animals fed crops sprayed with poison pesticides, is polluted with some of those poisons. The more poisons go into the body, the more poisons come out of the body in all body fluids. Our piss, our semen, or, for women, their vaginal fluids. I'm glad to swallow the cum of a man who lives healthy, eats healthy, when I'm attracted to him and he is attracted to me. I strongly compliment Colin Kaepernick for kneeling years ago during the national anthem to protest nonviolently police murders of many black people in the United States. And I strongly compliment all athletes who have the conscience and the courage to damn publicly white supremacy. Their strong public protest is infinitely more important than huge salaries and cheering fans. The day in December, when days are the shortest here, is called the winter solstice. And millions of people for thousands of years probably believed their prayers, their dances, their rituals caused the light to return and days to become longer. Did some of the community not believe the prayers, the dances, the rituals caused the days to become longer again? Did those people who did not believe say publicly they did not believe? Did those people suffer ridicule? Did they suffer rejection? Did they get thrown out of their tribe, even executed, because they refused to accept what most of their group believed was true about the rituals, the dances, the prayers that most of the group said caused the days to become longer after the winter solstice? Do we today have the conscience and the courage to oppose publicly what we believe is wrong, no matter how many people in our families, our communities, our nations swallow the bullshit? Millions of Christians and Jews for hundreds of years have loved the 23rd Psalm in the Bible. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. But the man who wrote the psalm was David. And in the Bible, David was praised for killing tens of thousands of people in other nations. And never once in the Bible did David apologize or repent for his mass murders of human beings in other nations. Never once in the Bible did David express regret. Never once did he express sorrow for his mass murders of people in other nations. David killed far more people than any street gang leader in the United States. David killed far more people than any U.S. serial killer on death row. David had no conscience, sadly, against killing people in other nations. And sadly, millions of soldiers today in the United States, in Germany, in France, in Israel, in many nations, believe God wants them to kill other human beings if their government tells them to. Crazy, evil bullshit. So remember this. Whenever you hear a preacher or a rabbi or a priest read the 23rd Psalm written by David, the mass murderer of people in other nations who never repented, never expressed sorrow or regret for killing those people. When will we see all people on earth, as our family, our sisters, our brothers? For many years, I've written letters to friends locked up. A white man friend in an Illinois prison. We've written each other for 29 years, and he's looking forward so much to getting out in less than 6 months. A black man friend, and he and I have written each other 28 years. And many other people locked up for much shorter times. Sadly, prisons are big business in the United States. Billions of dollars to the contractors, the crews building the prisons, billions of dollars to the suppliers of food, uniforms, and much more. The vast majority of prisoners would be much better in community-based programs with booze and other drug treatment. Programs teaching reading and job skills. Better for the prisoners, better for the communities. And here are many things I would hate about being locked up. The unhealthy factory fake processed food, the meat and dairy and cooked crap, usually very few fresh fruits and leafy greens. I would hate putting up every day with rules that make no sense. I would hate usually not being able to go to friends and family when they are sick and when they die. I would hate usually not being allowed to garden and never allowed to sunbathe naked. I would hate having some guards who are against gay people. I would hate being punished if caught making love with a man. I would hate being punished in some prisons if caught giving myself pleasure. I thank you for watching, and I thank very much and compliment Mark, Eddie, and Travis, who helped me dozens and dozens of times with this program, running the cameras and the other equipment. To your health, to my health, and if you see me and want to talk, stop me. I love personal questions. My fresh pith.
Live every day as if it were the last, because before you know it, time goes past and life's just not that long. Tell all you love that you love them so, because even if you do, they might not know, and one day we'll all be gone. Taste the wind